As a company, you're responsible for keeping your customer and your staff private information private. The problem is that people sometimes submit personal information without realizing. For example, here we have a CV from Jane Smith. This is obviously a demo CV, but it will work just as well with real data. And she included the address, phone number, email, and driver license. We don't really need the driver license, the address, or the phone to evaluate this CV. All we need is her name, the professional summary, the work experience, and the education. So, as a company, we probably don't want to store all of this information. Removing personal identifiable information from CVs can be quite a daunting task because all of this is really fuzzy data. We can't specify remove everything that starts with the X because some people's driver license number doesn't start with the X. And we can't say remove all phone numbers that start with +1 or with a parenthesis because some numbers will just not use that format. With AI though, this becomes very, very easy. AI is great at fuzzy tasks, and most AI models are perfectly capable of identifying all of the different personal identifiable information in the text and strip them out. Let's see how to do that in MindStudio. The workflow that strips out the PII is actually quite simple. It starts with a start block, and the start block initializes the variable content. The variable content will be the actual CV. Then we have a generate text block. This block has a very simple prompt, redact the PII information in the following text, and we pass in the variable content. The actual procedure of how to identify PII is in the main prompt for the workflow. The task is removing personal identifiable information, PII, and here are the criteria. Identify common types of PII, mask or remove PII, and we have some response formatting here, for example, return the result as HTML. We need this because we also want to create a new document in Google Drive with the redacted CV that we can store in the database. The final step in the automations tab is the end block, and the end block is creating a structured output in JSON with clean content equals the result, and the result is the result of this generate text block. You can add more key value pairs here. For example, you might ask for the reasons or all of the fields that were eliminated and save that somewhere else. But in this example, we want to keep things simple, and we have clean content equals result. Now, we want to use this workflow within a make automation because this workflow should start from a Google Drive where the CV appears first and end in Google Drive where we also store the final redacted document. This Jane Smith CV is part of our CVs with PII folders in Drive. What we want to do is take this CV from here, redact the informations, and pass it to redacted CVs, another folder in our Google Drive. To do that, we have this make workflow right here. One of our Cloud Functions workflow is remove PII. Let's edit it out to see what that does. The first step here is to watch for new Google documents in the folder, in the first CVs with PII folder. The second step is get the content of the document. This is going to scrape the document, find the text, and analyze it. Then we create JSON from that document, we parse the JSON, and we send it to MindStudio as the content. And you can see here that we're sending a variable named content because that's what we initialized in the flow, and the value for this variable is text. And text is coming from step 25, which is the JSON string coming from step 8. Then we transform the result from MindStudio into JSON, we parse that JSON, and we create a document. This new document will be in the redacted folder without the PII. It sounds very complicated, but once you run it, everything becomes clearer. So let's run this once. And here's the full run. Everything ran correctly. You can see that it started from the new document identified in Google Drive, which is the CV from the marketing manager. Then we get the content of the document. We create the JSON, which includes the JSON string, which is the text from the document. Then we parse that JSON and we get the text, which is this plain text from the document. We run the MindStudio app, and as you can see, we're passing in the variable coming from the previous step, and the variable includes all of the different text in the document. Finally, we transform the JSON, we parse the JSON, and we create a new document. This new document is named with the person name or the document name, and then redacted. Going back to Google Drive in the redacted folder, we can now see there is a new document named Jane Smith Redacted. And if we open this one up, the document is formatted properly, we have everything redacted, and the AI is following our guidelines on how to redact the PII. This is just one example on how you can use the Cloud Functions in MindStudio. The opportunities here are limitless, and you can even use the same function by copy-pasting it in your workflow and adding different key value pairs to do different things, maybe in a make workflow, a Zapier workflow, or your own code base. Hope this helps, and happy building!